Hello and welcome to the channel. So in our video today we'll be digging deep into one of the main tenses in the English grammar, and that's the present progressive or the present continuous. We'll be talking about the form or the structure of the tense, also about the different usages of it, and we'll be given some examples that exhibit or highlight the meanings demonstrated by the usage of that tense. So the present continuous or the present progressive, and I'll be calling it the present continuous from now on until the rest of the video. In terms of its form or its structure, it's made from the subject followed by verb to be in the present simple, followed by the present participle of the main verb in the tense. Some people might wonder what the subject is and what the present participle is. Quite simply, the subject is the person or the thing that performs the verb. So when I say, for example, that Sam likes pizza, Sam likes pizza, Sam in this sentence is the subject, because he is the person who performs the verb, which is likes. So the subject, which normally comes at the beginning of the sentence in English, is the person or the thing that performs the verb. Well, how about the present participle? What do we mean by that? In English, it's pretty common to add the suffix ing to the verb. Suffix means a group of letters or a syllable added at the end of the word. So some of the most famous suffixes in English are ment, like in arrangement, ation, like in information, and so on. So a suffix is a group of letters or a syllable that's added at the end of the word. So when we talk about the present participle, this is the verb with the suffix ing added to it. So words like drinking, like walking, like reading, all of these are present participles of the verbs read, walk, and eat or drink, or whatever the verb is. There is a point that's worth mentioning or clarifying here, and that's the difference between the present participle and the gerund. The present participle and the gerund have the same form. They are composed of the verb with the suffix ing added to it. But the thing is, the gerund acts as a noun in the sentence, whereas the present participle acts as a verb. Let's have an example to highlight this. When I say reading is a useful hobby, reading is a useful hobby. And when I say Adam is reading an interesting novel, Adam is reading an interesting novel. So we have the word reading in both examples, but the thing is, in the first example, reading is a noun. Reading is a useful hobby. Reading is a noun which refers to the process of reading. It acts as a subject in that sentence. So in this sentence, the word reading is a gerund. Whilst in the other sentence, when we said Adam is reading an interesting novel, reading here is a verb. We're saying Adam is reading. So in here, in this sentence, reading is a present participle because it's the verb with the ing added to it, and it acts as a verb in the sentence. So these were a couple of points that were worth talking about or demonstrating before we proceed in our main lesson today, which is the present continuous. So back to the present continuous. The present continuous, as we said, is a tense that consists of the subject at the beginning of the sentence, followed by verb to be in the present form, which means verb to be with its three present forms, am, is, and are. Am goes with the subject I. Is goes with the subjects he and she and it, or any equivalents to them. So I say he is or Robert is. I say she is or Anne is. I say it is or the cat is. So as you see, whether it's the pronouns he or she or it, or any nouns that can be replaced by them, all of these are subjects that go with the verb is, or with the form is of verb to be in the present. And are, which goes with we, you, and they. So if the subject is we, the pronoun we, or the pronoun they, or the pronoun you, or any of their equivalents, we use verb to be in the form are. And then all of these are followed by the present participle of the verb, which is the verb with the suffix ing added to it. So let's see some examples highlighting the present continuous tense. We haven't talked about the usage of the tense yet. As yet, we have only been explaining the usage of the tense, the form or the structure of the verb, and we haven't talked about the uses yet. So when I say, please don't make so much noise, please don't make so much noise, I'm trying to work. I'm trying to work. So I am trying. That's an example of the present continuous. When I say, let's go out now, it's not raining anymore. It's not raining, which means it is not or it isn't raining anymore. This is another example of the present continuous. We can also have another example in the form of a question. We say, what's all that noise? What's going on? What is going on? What here acts as the subject, followed by is and going. So the three components of the present continuous are highlighted in these examples. Now let's move on to the usages of the tense. When should we use the present continuous tense? Well, primarily, the present continuous is used to talk about an action that's happening right now at the time of speaking. So when I say Sarah is driving to work, Sarah, subject, is driving, present continuous, to work, this means that Sarah is doing the action right now at the time of speaking. The subject is in the middle of the action. He or she or it is in the middle of doing it. They have already started doing the action and they haven't finished it yet. All of these are the uses of the present continuous. Another use for the present continuous is to talk about an action that's not necessarily happening right now at the time of speaking, but it's happening around now, like it's happening these days or nowadays. For example, if I am talking to a friend of mine on the phone, I might tell them, I'm reading a very good book at the moment. I'm reading a very good book at the moment. I'm using the present continuous in this example. I'm saying, I am reading. I'm reading a really good book or a very nice book at the moment. The fact of the matter is that I'm not reading the book right now as I'm speaking. I'm talking to my friend on the phone, but I'm telling them that these days or around now, maybe just before I had the phone call with them, I am reading a nice book or I'm reading a very good book. This means at the time of speaking, I mightn't be reading the book, but these days or around now, I'm still in the middle of the process of reading the book. Further examples to highlight this usage, which is actions, an action that's happening these days or around now, not necessarily at the time of speaking. We say, for example, Kate wants to work in Italy. Kate wants to work in Italy, so she's learning Italian. So she is learning Italian. As you can see, we're using the present continuous in this sentence. She is learning Italian, but it's not necessary that right now, as I speak, she's learning Italian. Maybe she's asleep right now. Maybe she's at work, working. Maybe she's doing anything else. But I mean that around now or during this period of time, during the current period of time, she's learning Italian. Another example is, some friends are building their own house. Some friends are building their own house. That's present continuous. Some friends, subject, are building, present continuous. They hope to finish it next summer. Right, so what are some of the expressions, some of the time expressions or the keywords which are typically used with the present continuous? Well, there are plenty of them. We're talking about words like now, like at present, like at the moment. We can also use the present continuous with words like today, this week, this month, this year, because all of these words refer to periods of time which are around now. I can say, for example, you're working hard today. You're working hard today, which means that today you are doing some very hard work. Maybe not necessarily right now. Maybe now you're taking a rest or having a break or drinking some coffee. But generally, today you are working hard. Another example to highlight the same usage, we can say, for instance, the company I work for isn't doing well this year. The company I work for, that's the subject, isn't doing well, is not doing, present continuous, well this year. All right, so I'm talking here about a period of time that goes around now, or a period of time that revolves around the present time and not necessarily at the time of speaking. So to wrap up what we have said in this video was about the present continuous, which is also called the present progressive. We talked about the form or the structure of the tense, and that's the subject followed by verb to be in the present simple, which are the three forms am, is, and are. Am goes with the subject I, is goes with the subjects he and she and it and their equivalents, are goes with the subjects we, you, and they or their equivalents, followed by the present participle of the verb, which is the verb with the suffix ing added to it, acting as a verb, not acting as a noun, because if it acts as a noun, it's a gerund, as we said earlier. And regarding the usages of the present continuous tense, mainly it's used to talk about an action that's either happening right now at the time of speaking, or an action that's happening around now or these days or during this period of time that's revolving around now, not necessarily at the moment or at the time of speaking. In our next grammar video, we will be talking about another principle tense in English, and that's the present simple tense. And then in the video that follows it, we will be holding a comparison between the two tenses, because many people get confused about which tense to use, whether the present continuous or the present simple. So before we go further for the comparison, we will be discussing the present simple first in the upcoming video, and then we'll be comparing and contrasting them in the video that follows it. I'm talking here about the series of videos about grammar. We will also be having playlists or video series about vocabulary and about idioms, about collocations, about phrasal verbs, about the main aspects of the language. We shall also be posting some videos about pronunciation, writing tips, reading tips, and so forth. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative and useful and not boring to you. Stay tuned for our next videos, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.